A very good afternoon to everybody then from Cougar Park, Keighley. It's the third round tie of the Regal Trophy. The visitors this afternoon, First Division opponents in the form of Sheffield Eagles, who should give Keighley, if nothing else, an idea of what life could be like in the First Division, or will be like in the First Division next season. Sheffield currently mid-table in that First Division. They've broken no pots, but by the same token, there are no mugs either. So they're the test for this afternoon. But it's Cougars now taking the park for the third round of this Regal Trophy. We've had Christmas festivities and miniature balls being thrown into the crowd at the moment, with Christmas greetings from all at Cougar Park. So the teams for this afternoon: Keighley first, full-back Andre Stoop, three-quarters Andy Ayres, Nick Pinkney, Simon Irvine and Keith Dixon replacing Neil Kenyon on the wing, Martin Wood and Chris Robinson at half-back, Ian Gately, Jason Ramshaw, Steve Hall, Phil Stevenson in for the injured Darren Fleury, Grant Dory and Gareth Cochrane at loose forward. Substitutes for Keighley: Darren Appleby at 14 and Brendan Hill at 15. And for Sheffield, in their change strip of green and black, the red and amber clashing somewhat with the Keighley strip, is at fullback Mark Gamson, three-quarters Richard Pixley, Keith Senior, David Myco and Bright Sodji. The half-backs Richard Price and Ryan Sheridan, Darren Powell not in the initial lineup, he's on the bench. And the forwards: Paul Broadbent, Lee Jackson, John Glancy, Paul Carr, Ian Hughes and Anthony Farrell. Substitutes for Sheffield: Darrell Powell and Darren Turner. The man in the middle this afternoon is Mr. Bob Connolly from Wigan, and his two touches, Mr. Farrimond and Mr. Golden. So the touch judges and Mr. Connolly in the centre there speaking to the two officials. The change round has occurred. Anthony Farrell, the skipper this afternoon for Sheffield. Anthony Farrell, of course, originated his professional days at Huddersfield as a centre, but certainly since being at Sheffield, he's been in the loose forward position. Used to be a very elusive centre, very fast centre, but certainly made his mark in the loose forward position. The Cougar cry comes up then. Bob Connolly, of course, the referee, one of the two famous Connolly twins, and certainly tracked his career from the amateur game into the top ranks of the professionals. Ian Hughes then just taking that kick-off from Robinson with the foot. And I think probably a key word today is going to be respect of possession. For Broadbent, certainly the numbers at this side, 2-1, but Nick Pinkney doing well on David Myco there, tackling the Sheffield centre, and the Sheffield centre just having a few words to say to Pinkney. And just a bit at 6s and 7s there with Sheffield as the ball went astray, left to Farrell as Lee Jackson now kicks upfield. Keith Dixon allows Andre Stoop to take the ball, but there's three Sheffield chasers there getting up very, very quickly from that kick from Lee Jackson. And Dixon going on his own there from the acting half-back position, 10 metres inside his own half of the field, as Robinson switches play outside to Steve Hall. And the big Keighley number 10 there taking play in, as now the other Keighley prop, Ian Gately, making progress into the opposition half, and there's a penalty for interference at the play of the ball. And quite interestingly, the controller of referees, Greg McCallum, in the stands this afternoon, watching what's happening as far as the instructions are concerned, and Bob Connolly very quickly onto that one there. I certainly know that the Keighley players have been made very well aware of this new instruction. In fact, I've carried it out for the last two games. whilst the opposition haven't, and the opposition have been penalised for it, and Keighley have behaved themselves, as we might say, as Steve Hall takes play up to the 10-metre line in that Sheffield Eagles half of the field. Martin Wood now, long ball out to Irving Stoop and on to Pinkney, but Pinkney loses the ball. Looked to me as though Bright Sodgy may have had a hand in there at the tackle, but we don't have the benefit of the replay to have a look at that, but certainly I thought Bright Sodgy's hand might well have been in there. Mr. Conley, looking at it head on, as you might say, had obviously a far better view than we did. Sheridan feeding that scrum. It's out the far side over there to Richard Price, to stand off for the Eagles. Farrell taking the ball from fullback Gamson. Gamson, of course, a local lad, came from the Birkenshaw area of Bradford before going on to Leeds Colts and then being snapped up by the Eagles 10 seasons ago at the start of the Eagles' entry into the Rugby Football League. Been with them ever since, approaching almost 300 games with them, and there's half a break there, and in fact an offload looking for the scrum half, eventually finding the standoff, and Eagles spreading the ball out to this side, but the Keighley cover up to it, and there in fact Phil Stevenson looking just a little bit mystified. I'm sure he's had the instruction the same as everybody else, but of course the one man missing in the last two first team games for Keighley, he's in for the injured Darren Fleary this afternoon, and this is John Glancy taking play inside that Keighley 20-metre line. Jackson switching the ball outside as Paul Carr, the Australian, taking play in now. And Sheridan into play there with Price, and it's on the Keighley 10. Referee Connolly calling the Keighley defence all the way back to that line as Jackson offers the ball. Gives it to Sheridan, but Sheridan really left with nowhere to go. Still on that 10-metre line now. Robinson takes the interception there from the standoff Richard Price as he tried to kick the ball through, and Cochrane now coming in, almost back to the 20-metre line. Keighley on the tack, down the hill, and Sheffield all offside in the centre of the field. I think in fact Mr. Conley could have had one of three to pick. In fact, he indicated two of those three, and still indicates the same two as well. So it's Simon Irving then with this pressure relieving penalty for Keighley. Oh, and that's a poor kick there. Sodgy taking it with consummate ease, a couple of metres inside the touchline side. Simon Irving going for distance rather than security and safety. Takes the advantage away from Keighley, hands it back to Sheffield, and Jackson with the ball back, spreading it out to this near side as we look at the play. Paul Carr, the Australian, offloads, but Michael loses the ball and Jackson's in an offside position. Well spotted by referee Connolly there, and certainly I have to be absolutely honest and say that some of the referees that perhaps we've seen here at Cougar Park or in the second division this season would in all probability have given that as a scrum down for the knock-on. Mr. Conley quite correctly gives it for offside. Lee Jackson definitely in an offside position as Simon Irving this time makes safe that touch finder for the second phase of the penalty to start, and it's Gately driving in, and Ramshaw acting half back onto Martin Wood, switch back inside to Hall. Hall drives into that Eagles defensive line on the Eagles 20 now as Robinson misses out Stevenson, and Grant Dory almost through the door there, and in fact it's a penalty for hanging of the heel now then. Well, I'm surprised actually. I thought we may well have seen a sin bin in there, because a definite professional foul there by Sheffield Eagles inside the 20-metre area where we normally see the yellow card produced. Certainly feel that Mr. Conley has been very generous as far as the Eagles defender was concerned there. I must admit I didn't see who it was, but the hanging onto the ankle, certainly a professional foul, and certainly one which has quite in normal circumstances attracted the yellow card. Not so on this occasion, but Simon Irving will be looking to add the 2 points for that indiscretion. straight through, and Keighley take the first points of this third round Regal Trophy tie. So then the Eagles restart deep into the Keighley half of the field. David Maiko, the man on with the boot that applied to the ball to restart the game, as Phil Stevenson comes in, gets back to his own 10-metre line, but there's no escaping the tackle there of John Glancy and Paul Carr. Cochrane. Certainly Gareth Cochrane will be interesting to see how he performs in this game. It's a big step up for Gareth. Of course, previously with the academy, but certainly been starting very much in the Keighley first team since introduction early in the season. Tremendous break there by Ian Gately, but it's the last tackle onto Robinson. Robinson applies boot to ball to the far touchline side, but it's a good kick. The referee calls all on, and Steve Hall's the first one there, together with Robinson, to put the tackling in, and Hall and Robinson again, preventing the fullback Mark Gamson from making too much progress away from his own defensive area. Ian Gately receiving treatment on the halfway line as the Eagles make progress towards that mark on the field. 4 tackles used, and away from the acting half-back position, trying to catch Keighley short on this near side, but Maiko rather tackled, and again interference in the tackle. The instruction is make the tackle and stand back a pace. Keighley didn't do so. They've been found guilty. Jackson then with the restart. Farrell tackled, lays out the arms into the face, but the handoff half putting off the Keighley tacklers, but it's Sheridan who was tackled in possession there, and Richard Price gets the ball out there to Gamson. Gamson's away. He got away there from the tackle of Steve Hall, but a good tackle there by Robinson on Gamson. And the Eagles are looking to make inroads here this time. They've got the opportunity there, but Paul Broadbent tackled a couple of metres from the Cougar line. Jackson gets the ball out there to Price. On to Sheridan. Sheridan, it hit the foot, went forward. That's not a knock-on. The referee, though, calls the last one as Farrell gets the ball out there to Price. Price goes for the kick through, but straight into the arms of Andy Ayres, who gratefully accepts that one, and it's Andre Stoop now. A dozen metres from his own line as Ramshaw gets Irvine into the action. He breaks the 20-metre line before falling to the tackles of Broadbent and Jackson. Robinson on to Stevenson. Stevenson drives in, but his opposite number 11, Paul Carr, has absolutely no problem with the tackling. Appeals to the touch judge and the referee for losing the ball. But Steve Hall, in the meantime, makes his way towards the halfway line. The Cougars lead 2 points to nil as Robinson... Oh, dear me! Where is the touch judge? He's totally ignored it, but that was a definite follow-through by a shoulder to me. He's now on the field. Is he going to report that? I feel sure he's got to do. But dear oh dear, touch judge, you don't go on down there. You go on where the incident is, surely. But it was certainly a deliberate follow-through there on Robinson. Robinson kicked the ball. The Eagles player made no attempt whatsoever to check his attempts at going in. David Maiko, it looks it is who's being pulled out for it. Robinson's just receiving the attention of physio Ronnie Barrett. Appears to be okay, although just a little bit wobbly at the moment. And I'm not sure whether the penalty is for the incident on Robinson or something that happened down there. I suspect it's something down there, so I feel sure he's just totally ignored the charge on Robinson. As Steve Hall, anyway, takes the ball in 10 metres from that Eagles line. Ramshaw acting halfback onto Robinson, switches back in outside there to Stevenson, but Stevenson well picked up there, easily picked up by the Eagles defence. Robinson onto Martin Wood. Misses out Gately, finds Cochrane, out there to Irving. Irving gets the ball. Hayes is in at the corner. The Cougars are 6 points up. Beg your pardon, Keith Dixon, Andy Ayres on this wing, of course. Keith Dixon on the end of the Simon Irving pass. Irving just hung onto that ball long enough to draw the defence. Keith Dixon had the ball from the Irving pass, and all he'd really got to do was drop over in the corner, but nonetheless the try still had to be scored. Keighley Cougars 6, Sheffield Eagles 0. And we've got 12 minutes on the clock. Well, Keith Dixon adding that one to his trio of tries last week at Rydale York, and certainly he's seeing good service from the centre. So excellent service last week at York, and that equally good service from Simon Irving gave him the 4 points in the corner. Simon Irving then looking to add the touchline conversion. Just fades to the left-hand side of the uprights, but nonetheless Keighley in the lead, 6 points to 2, and they will need, of course, the points in this first half. Let's not get carried away just yet. We saw the Eagles against Castleford a week last Friday fall well behind and come back with a spirited performance and almost snatch the game against Castleford. Oh, and that one could be, looked as though it could have been going out on the full, not quite, just bouncing inside the touchline, but it's a scrum down to Keighley. Robinson, Andy Ayres taking play in field, and Robinson again onto Martin Wood, long ball out there to Stoop in the line. Stoop dummies, gets through the gap, finds Simon Irving, he's got Pinkney inside, oh, and just ankle tap there was Pinkney, still right, Nick Pinkney, almost a try there for Pinkney, but 10 metres short, being penalised now. Then there's got to be a yellow card here, Mr. Connolly. I don't care what happens, the yellow card comes out, professional foul, off you go Sunshine, you take a rest for 10 minutes. Paul Carr, the Australian, in the second row, but what a tremendous break there by Pinkney. He was faced by almost the entire Eagles defence. He slipped through a couple of half-hearted tackles really, but nonetheless they still had to be got through. He got through them and he was tackled on that 10-metre line. Paul Carr decided to sit on him while the defence got back. Mr. Connolly decided that that was not the spirit of the game or the rule of the game, and he's taking 10 minutes on that Eagles bench for his indiscretions. Simon Irving, meantime, right in front of the sticks, and I suppose all he can say as far as Paul Carr is concerned is save possibly 6 points, or save 4, assuming that Simon kicks this goal. Which he certainly does. That takes Keighley to 8 points then.
Super silent.
So David Maiko then restarts following that indiscretion, but I have to say that Paul Carr did his side a service by, although he's taken 10 minutes, Keighley would surely have walked in. The options are open left and right there as far as they were concerned. Oh, and Dixon just missing that ball, and it's Eagles repossession, and Keighley certainly had a line stretched out there, as well as Anthony Farrell now decides to go on his own following the Richard Pixley play of the ball. And it's out this time to Sheridan into the centre of the field. But the Cougars tackling up to the task at the moment. On to Price. This is Ian Hughes, the number 12 for the Eagles. And Broadbent taking the ball in. David Maiko offloads there to Glancy. Glancy onto Sheridan. Sheridan jiggles about in the middle, but not jiggling cleverly enough for Ramshaw to deceive him, and that's a good tackle there by Simon Irving on Keith Senior. Last one comes up, the referee holds the arm in the air, but the ball being kicked dead. The Keighley defender wisely taking his arm away from and Steve Hall now taking play up for Keighley as he approaches that 30-metre line, tackled initially by Anthony Farrell. Gately stepping in, a flying arm over the top there, failed to make contact as Robinson. Grant Dorey offloads back to Robinson, on to Martin Wood. Wood though stepping back inside, finds Simon Irving, but well, I thought Simon Irving was stitched up there, he is now, but I thought perhaps Martin might have taken the wrong options going that side. He's now going on his own, he's seen a half gap, he's still going, Martin Wood's going, he puts the kick in, but it's going to be too long, I feel. Well, it was touch and go, but the Sheffield defender there, full-back, I think Mark Gamson, had to put that ball dead for safety reasons. It was touch and go. I thought perhaps Martin might have made it on his own, perhaps taken a little bit further, another 2 spaces further, and drawn the defence and fed it out to Dixon on the wing, but the kick nonetheless was still a good option. Keighley will get possession back. And it's Stevenson taking that ball back in. Robinson, and all offside there. No, in fact, well, Andre Stoop, in fact, not playing the ball correctly, pushing the ball through the feet, and how often have we seen this previously go unpenalised, particularly with the big league sides failing completely to play the ball, and yet now it's been penalised, and quite rightly so. It's been stamped upon, and the sort of thing that's never really been prevalent in the second division, more a first division tactic to keep the game, or get the game going quickly. As it is, it's the Eagles. Lee Jackson gets the ball away there to Hughes as they get into the Keighley half of the field, but lose possession and Stoop now. Tackled by Farrell on the shoulders, 7 or 8 metres inside his own half of the field. Robinson skips away, gets Dorey in the gap. Grant Dorey's still going, he's got Stevie Hall there. Owen Hall tackled, the ball not secured as the arm flew in. Robinson takes on the, oh, it's Bright Sodgy in fact in the centre of the field, and well, I have to wonder really, well, we'll say nothing about it, I don't think. Referee Connolly explaining to the Keighley captain about this rolling away. Oh, and that's an awful kick. Where on earth was the Keighley defence? Five metres then inside the Keighley half as Sheffield now make the way back up this Cougar Park slope. Glancy gets up, plays the ball on then to Sheridan. Sheridan steps inside, but tackled there by Stevenson and Hall. Jackson out then to Price. He finds Hughes on the far side. The second rower though brought to ground just outside the Keighley 20-metre area. Sheridan, Price rather, tackled on the last one as it on the 5th tackle rather. The last one comes up. This is Sheridan now. Well, The idea was good, the execution was abysmal. As Stoop now kems in, 30 metres out. Gets up, plays the ball. Ramshaw inside there looking for Ian Gately. Ian Gately got the ball, but he was looking for the support that failed to arrive in time. Ball went backwards to the referee. Robinson picks it up in the splodgy stuff. Stevenson steps back inside, but brought down to ground 5 metres inside, still inside his own half of the field. Robinson having to go on his own there. In fact, going on his own as Jackson, the second marker, moved very quickly and created a gap. Andy Ayres puts Cochrane in the hole. Oh, and a crack around the head there by Gareth Cochrane by the second tackler, as Ramshaw on the last tackle to Robinson. A long ball out there to Dory. Dory finds Irving. Irving goes. Irving's going to score, is he? No, he's lost the ball in the tackle. In fact, the referee has penalised Simon Irving for passing off the floor, in fact. Said the elbow was on the floor and he tried to pass away. It looked from this distance as though he perhaps lost the ball, but Mr. Connolly a lot closer than we are, certainly saw the deliberate act of the pass off the floor, as Sheffield now make the way back towards that 20-metre line. 23 minutes of the first half gone. The Cougars in the lead by 8 points to 0. And the ball, was it lost? No, certainly not, no. Just popped up in the arm as Maiko tries to get away up this stand side, the Stratton Shed side, inside to Price. Price finds Jackson, switches the play back to this side, on to Sodji now. Right, Sodji, the former Hull KR winger. And it's Jackson at acting half-back. A couple of Keighley players in an offside position there as Jackson gets the ball back to Sodji on the halfway line. And it's out to Maiko, who applies boot to ball up this touchline side. Andre Stoop gives the ball out this time to Ayres. Ayres steps inside rather. And Sodji, certainly an upper area tackle, not on the head, but certainly up the top shoulder area, as Robinson onto Martin Wood. Gareth Cochrane in the line, he finds Stoop. The weight of the tackle though there, knocking the ball away from Stoop. And Cochrane having to take the ball in on his own there, the support inside not present. It's there now in the shape of Steve Hall as he takes on those two Sheffield Eagles forwards. Robinson, Ian Gately back inside, on there to Cochrane, out to Irving. Irving, it's 1-1 now as Irving gets the wrong options. It's on to Gareth Cochrane and the Cougars get this second try. Gareth Cochrane at the side of the post and the Eagles are shell-shocked. 25 minutes on the clock as Keighley Cougars go and get the dozen points on the board. I thought perhaps Simon Irving might have taken the wrong option, but he came inside. Cochrane was on his inside, fed the ball into him, and the Eagles are grounded. Well, we certainly said as Simon Irving lines this one up, that this one would provide a very good test as far as Keighley are concerned for what the First Division is like next season. But let's not get carried away just yet. And Simon Irving puts 14 on the board now for Keighley. And certainly the hearts are running fast here in Keighley. The excitement's there for all to see around the ground as the Cougars get to 14 points without reply from Sheffield. But certainly a massive following here for Keighley, as you'd expect this afternoon, as David Maiko restarts. Robinson takes it, Stevenson drives in. Robinson. Cochrane on the dummy run. Ayres, woof, again. Anthony Farrell certainly tackles in the upper half of the body. But he's a big fella as well, but he's pulling down Grant Dory there, as assisted there as well by John Glancy. And it's Gately towards the halfway line, a couple of metres short, held down. Now then another one in the bin here. Yes. Well, you'd think these people had learned, wouldn't you? Pulling down, the instructions being very, very clear from Chapeltown Road, and certainly from Greg McCollum, do it at your peril. And Sheffield have certainly not helped themselves. They should have learned, because they had exactly the same thing happen to them against Castleford. Obviously the message not gone through from coach and chairman Gary Hetherington to them, at least not in a positive manner, as Steve Hall takes play back into that Sheffield 20-metre area, 18 metres from the line. Ramshaw onto Robinson. Martin Wood steps inside one, outside the other, as Dixon now comes back into the centre of the field, realising that there's nobody outside him. He's the last man outside, is Dixon, as Ramshaw gets the ball onto Robinson. Cochrane in the line, switches inside to Irvine. A dozen metres from that line, right in through to those Eagles posts. Ramshaw to Robinson, onto Stevie Hall. And Hall loses the ball. Knock on there, Andy Ayres picks it up, bangs it down over the line, but
for a Mazda 323 estate car parked outside Alex Trailers. We think it's Mr. Anthony Ellison Drake.
So the scrum forming 10 metres from that Eagles line. It's Eagles scrum half, Ryan Sheridan to feed the scrum.
323 estate. Thank you.
Maiko then making his way up this side of the field, 10 metres in from the touchline side, gets up quickly, plays the ball onto Jackson. Sheridan offloads there to Paul Carr, but allowed to offload the ball in the tackle there to Price, as the Eagles get back towards the halfway line. Gamson onto Jackson, switches inside to Price rather. Price offloads it back to Gamson, and Gamson tackled. Certainly the Eagles coming back up the slope with a lot of determination in this set of 6, but it's the last one as Price puts the ball over. Keith Dixon picks the ball up, evades those tacklers, gets the ball away there to Stoops on the loose, but he's tackled just inside the Eagles half of the field, gets up and plays the ball, misses out Hall, onto Robinson. Martin Wood sees the half gap, the ball's in the wrong hand to give it out, and he's still going inside that 20 is Martin Wood. Nick Pinkney had given up the support there, thinking that Wood was going to be going to ground, as Grant Dory now down the short side. And again the arm round the head, this time it's Bright Sodges. Stevenson to Robinson, Steve Hall comes back in, charges into that Eagles defence on the 5 metres from their line. Dory onto Robinson, he puts a long ball out to Ramshaw. Ramshaw gave the short ball, and we should be in here. The Keighley, they've knocked on over there. Not only that, they didn't even keep possession. So Andre Stoop there, the pass wasn't good to him, but certainly a 3-to-1 overlap on that far side. Keighley should have been in for the third try had the pass to Stoop been better, or even if he'd have been able to work magic and get that ball. But a Forster there, Robinson gives it out to Pinkney on to Ayres. Ayres steps inside Sodji. Oh, and he's only inches short from this corner flag. Pinkney acting half-back, an awful pass out to Martin Wood, a long ball out there, misses out Stevenson. Cochrane takes it by the bootlaces. Stoop does his wiggly wogglies with the ball in front of him. 22 metres out now as Grant Dory comes back inside. It's been all the Cougars in this half, and they get 5 metres now from the Eagles line. Robinson acting half-back, onto Martin Wood. Martin Wood through the gap, no. Well, and Ayres taken out there well after the ball had gone by the standoff. Robinson goes for the kick and chase. Oh, he gets the touch! Does Robinson. He saw the Eagles' defence were asleep. He went straight into the Eagles area, and he gets his second try for the club. Oh, a tremendous bit of vision there by Chris Robinson, the Cougars scrum half. He saw the Eagles were asleep. They thought it was easy, but it certainly wasn't. That's 18 points now to the Cougars, and the Eagles have given themselves a mountain to climb.
Chris Robinson! These boys eat our meat.
So then, Simon Irvine with the opportunity of taking Keighley to the score. There is a score, 20 points to 0. 32 minutes on the clock.
The boys are going crazy. Night out to the abattoir tonight.
Michael once more then restarts. The try scorer Robinson on the end of it. Offloads to Stevenson. Stevenson breaks the first tackle. Breaks out. Oh, and Ramshaw doing a good job there. He was tackled almost before he got the ball. Robinson onto Martin Wood. Misses out Cochrane. Finds Ayres. Ayres through the gap. And again, Farrell up the top. But you tackle down below if you're going to catch him, as Ayres gets 30 metres from that Eagles line. Keith Dixon at acting half-back, switches out to the outside as Steve Hall takes play in. Straightening up all the time, it's straight forward, straight running here by Keighley that's catching the Eagles. Dixon out to the far side, Andre Stoop on, Dixon loses the ball. Certainly the options were there for Keighley. The Eagles' defence was very much stretched on that far side of the field. It was the right option. Unfortunately, Keith Dixon not able to hang on to the pass, as the Eagles now totally devastated by this first half. 20 points to 0 they trail, as Keighley now caught offside. The discipline's been good, but that's the second time Phil Stevenson's been penalised, once for laying on, once for offside. Robinson unable to stop the advancing of that Eagles player, as the standoff now. Price breaks through, and again there's a yellow card this time for Keighley. Well, we've got to say Mr. Connolly's been consistent. Grant Dory the one this time. That's 4 in the bin for holding down at the play of the ball. So then the Eagles on the 20-metre line. Gamson out then to Fleary, to Farrell. Anthony Farrell tackled 15 metres short of the Cougars line. Keighley need to keep this scoreline down at the moment, as it currently stands, against them, that is. As we approach the half-time point, 5 minutes to go now, as Maiko gets the ball into Price. Price in the centre of the field. On to Jackson. Jackson slips the ball. Oh, that's an easy run through there by Ian Hughes. Sleight of hand there by Lee Jackson. The ball came round the back of him. It was loose. And certainly Jackson was the architect of that one. The slip of the ball round the back onto the supporting second rower, Ian Hughes. And Ian Hughes, the Keighley defence, expecting the ball to have gone out to the right hand side as we look at it. And so Keighley down by that one man and conceding the 4 points. Oh, David Maiko then will be looking to add the 2 extras to that Hughes try. Well, he just about continues Sheffield's woes, and we witnessed that again on Sky last week, where they just do not have a goal kick, and you cannot afford to miss goals in those positions. You can't afford to do that. Sheffield, in fact, could be the architects of their own downfall this afternoon. So 20 points to 4 then, with 3 minutes on the actual running clock as Robinson restarts for the Cougars down into the Eagles 20-metre area. Gately and Stevenson doing the tackling there, containing initially the breakout from defence to the 20-metre line. Well, a despairing arm out there catching the Sheffield player around the head. The referee calls all on right from the word go, thinking if you want to play that ball quickly, the defence have had no chance to get back, you can do the tackling. And Jackson showing there what it's all about, playing the ball quickly, keeping the defence backpedaling now as Price gets the ball out to Sheridan. Sheridan through the gap. Andre Stoops there, he's got to do the tackling, and he does. But certainly this half-back pairing of Sheridan and Price causing a bit of a headache as Gamson gets Faddle out over the far side, but the loose forward tackled almost into touch on that far side by Dixon as the ball now comes out. Sheridan onto Price. Price again round the back, but Cochrane up to that, doing the tackling in the corner 10 metres out as the last tackle comes up now as the Eagles, it looks again like Jackson gets the ball. Did he get it off the floor? No, so says Mr. Connolly. And that's going to be a handover. The referee's got a call held, surely. He does do now. It's a handover as Paul Carr tackled in possession on the last one. Martin Wood takes the ball. Ramshaw gives it to Stoop, and Stoop runs away across the face of his own post, dragged slightly backwards. And Dixon, where's the forwards? Ramshaw, here come the forwards in the shape of Stevie Hall, going back towards that 20-metre line. Tremendous half by Keighley in this first 40 minutes. Tremendous amount of spirit, tremendous amount of enthusiasm, commitment, call it what you want, it's all been there, as have the points on the board. There's 20 there logged to Keighley at the moment, as Cochrane works his way towards the halfway line. The call comes up for the last tackle as Robinson applies boot to ball, dissects the full-back and the winger, Gamson and Sodji. It's Gamson having to bring the ball away, just clears his own 20-metre line, and Sodji knocks on. Whoa-wee. Well, we've seen tries in the first half for Keighley from Keith Dixon, the first one, Gareth Cochrane and Chris Robinson. We've also seen 4 Simon Irving goals to give Keighley their points tally of 20 as the half-time hooter goes. Well, the hooter's gone. My watch certainly hasn't got to 40 minutes yet, but there we go. That's the half-time hooter, and the half-time scoreline reading: Keighley Cougars 20, Sheffield Eagles 4. In fact, the referee's just checking as to whether in fact it was something in the crowd. Certainly my watch is still running, and it's only now got there, and there's the hooter. Well, it sounded like the same hooter as the first one, but there we are. Half-time score then: Keighley Cougars 20, Sheffield Eagles 4. Well, as we prepare them for the second half, certainly on the substitutes position, we notice that Darren Turner is on for Sheffield. Not particularly sure who he's on for at the moment. We may be able to give you that in a moment.
Rocking all over the place. It's part 2 of the Cougar experience for the Sheffield.
The one thing that we can confirm is that the scoreline is very positive at the moment in favour of Keighley, 20 points to 4. Mr. Conley checks his watch, checks his touch judges, and David Michael gets the game underway. Jason Ramshaw underneath it, and Stevenson driving up towards that 20-metre line.
The raffle for the Supporters Club is a green ticket, 500.
Robinson
at the shop after the game. Thank you.
Ayres half through the gap, and again, Anthony Farrell certainly does like tackling up the top area. I've got to say that. It's not dangerous, but it's very close on that area, which says no. Turner then rolls away and has another go at Hall as Ian Gately drives in. Well met though there by Jackson and by Glancy. Ooh, and a bit of a juggling effort there by Gareth Cochrane as the Cougars still stuck on that 30-metre line. Martin Wood puts the ball upfield into no man's land between Bright Sodji and fullback Gamson. Sodji it is who takes the ball eventually. All called on. And a good chase there by Stevenson and Ramshaw, and Sodji almost losing possession. So Keighley will have to make sure if they can play anything like they did in the first half in this second 40 minutes, they could well be in the hat for the next round. But this is the one they're going to have to tie up in the centre, the two half-backs particularly, and Ryan Sheridan in particular. As Anthony Farrell drives in, bounces off Simon Irvine, feeds the ball onto Jackson. Jackson finds Price, and it's a loop round there with Turner in the centre of the field, but Martin Wood doing the tackling, but they've got the numbers here as Maiko. Well, Maiko surrenders to the tackle there, puts the ball down, is allowed to play it to himself. And it's out now then to Sheridan. Looked forward. Mr. Conley agrees. Was the last tackle.
Sheffield, Turner for use.
And again we're seeing the top area of the body in the tackles as Robinson now dummies to the left and comes up the centre of the field. Can't escape those tackles, but almost for the first time Keighley with the ball, well, I'm going to say with the ball in the hands, break away from the 30-metre line as Stoop dummies to his right, but tackled inside the 10 from halfway. Ramshaw. Oh, and a poor pass to Martin Wood. He did well to take it as Cochrane gets Pinkney away on the far side, but Pinkney's going to go to ground in that heavier area, a couple of metres from the halfway line. Martin Wood onto Stevenson. Stevenson steps to his right, breaks into Eagles territory for the first time, and it's the last one coming up as Robinson gets the task of putting the ball up into that Eagles half. The crowd call for knock on, but no way, as Hughes is tackled. Sheridan getting the ball out there to Gamson, and Gamson though making very little headway as he tried to get between Gately and Ramshaw, and Farrell half through the tackle there as the ball out now on the far side. It's number 8 for Sheffield, Paul Broadbent, making his way into the Cougars half of the field. Long ball out to this side. Well, I think if Hughes had stepped in front there, that would have been a definite shepherd. As it was, he managed to stay behind Senior, and it's a big high ball there by Sheridan, well taken by Andre Stoop, and the referee says, well, the referee said nothing. Referee said absolutely nothing there, and Stoop didn't think he'd been tackled. He obviously didn't hear the call to play the ball. Bob Conley has other ideas, and it's a penalty to Sheffield Eagles. And Sheffield there, it's tackling time now for Keighley as Sheffield well encamped inside that Cougars 10-metre area. Price making a mess of that, but Farrell doing the sweeping up behind him. Offloads there to Turner. Turner in, but well tackled there. And it's out now. Sheridan gets the ball out. Sheffield have the numbers. Well, It's 3 players outside him without a Keighley player in sight, and he opts to take the ball himself. Well, certainly Hetherington will not be pleased with that as Ayres gets away. Tackled 10 metres short of the halfway line. Sheffield backpedaling. Keighley need to get this ball moving quickly. As Robinson searching for somebody in support, but the Cougars not really getting there that time. Owen Steve Hall loses that one. So then, that's mistake by Steve Hall after the good work out of defence by Andy Ayres, the good run, putting Keighley back under pressure just inside their own half of the field. Anthony Farrell eventually deciding he's going to put his head in the back of the pack as Sheridan gets the ball out onto Price. Price looks to his option to his right, decides to take on Martin Wood, and Phil Stevenson's broken away there from that scrum as Jackson gets Farrell underway again. Farrell's certainly a strong lad. He's got plenty of, I think the terminology is upper body strength. As number 8 there, Broadbent, approaches the Cougars 20-metre line. It's certainly been nearly all Eagles so far in this half as Turner gets in there. They've certainly had plenty of possession in this opening 6 minutes, as Gamson goes on his own on a darting run, but it's the last one on the Cougars 10-metre line. Tries to milk the penalty as Jackson gets the ball away from acting half. Sheridan goes for the kick through and the chase, but the short in-goal area here at Cougar Park just not deep enough there for that kick, as Ramshaw now gets play back underway. Steve Hall breaks away from the first tackle, rampaging, striding through those tackles there, Steve Hall, as Ramshaw now outside to Dory. Dory hits Sodji head to head there, gets into the Eagles half of the field and receives the treatment the touch judge is on at the far side. Certainly receiving the treatment from somebody there was Dory, I feel. We shall see which way the penalty goes. In fact, speaking to an Eagles player, well, he's talking to Lee Jackson, but it certainly wasn't Lee Jackson. And Lee Jackson just remonstrating to those in the crowd and the touch judge as well. Well, if he's saying anything to the touch judge, he wants to be careful because he too could finish up with a yellow card for dissent. Not the best of discipline that you expect from a First Division side. Whoa, all offside Sheffield, as Robinson now gets the ball away to Stevenson. 25 metres out from the line. Looked a bit of a knock on there, perhaps not, as Gately bursts through the first tackle inside the Eagles 20. Ramshaw to Robinson, out to Stoop on this side, can't see a thing. Just inside the touchline side now as Dixon gets the ball inside to Hall. Hall takes on the defence inside that Eagles 10. Ramshaw acting half back, has to hang fire while the ball comes back. Oh, Martin Wood took the eye off the ball. He saw the gap in the defence. He was busy looking at that, not looking where the ball was going. Lost possession, and the Eagles have it back, but now Keith have it back in the shape of Pinckney. Pinckney steps inside the winger, but brought to ground a couple of 5 metres from the line. Martin Wood, who decides to take on the defence there on his own. No way through for him, and in fact there's no way out of the pile of bodies either, as Ramshaw to Robinson. Robinson switches back to Stevenson. Stevenson loses his foot 9 metres inside. Robinson out to Cochrane. Keighley have got the numbers as Irving gets Stoop in. Stoop's going for the corner. Stoop's going to score. Stoop's going for the post. In for the try. Andre Stoop in for the Cougars try. They've absorbed 8 minutes of pressure, and they've come back with a try, and that could be a killer for the Eagles. It just looked for a moment though, perhaps as Keighley had not got their act together when the ball went to Phil Stevenson. As it was, it came out this side. Stoop was in support. We marginally lost the picture on this near side, but Stoop came out with it. He went over. His strength and skill outwitting the Sheffield defence. And not only that, managed to make a good 10 metres further in before putting the ball down. Tremendous try for Keighley. Simon Irvine then, as the crowd hushes. Oh yes. Well, that's the 5th goal of the afternoon for Simon Irvine, and the look on the Sheffield Eagles' face is one of disbelief.
Jason's from Pitterfields Hospital here today. Opening choice again.
David Michael restarts, Chris Robinson regathers, and Phil Stevenson drives in. Cochrane driving in, and again the ooze come from the crowd as Cochrane's head flies back, but I think we've discussed that before as Martin Wood gets the ball out to Pinkney. Does well to take it, does Pinkney, but Simon Irvine, the ball bounced out there as Ian Hughes did the tackling. The cover was good, and Sheridan now tackled in possession there by Simon Irvine. Out to Farrell. Farrell just a little readjustment there as he half through Ian Gately's tackle, but certainly a very, very strong player up top is Anthony Farrell. Inside now for the Eagles. Price gets the ball into the prop forward Broadbent. But good tackling there by Keighley, driving the Eagles back towards that 20-metre line. Paul Carr driving in, not looking for support, sufficient to try to set up the position for the Eagles. Out then to Sheridan. Sheridan misses out Turner, and he finds Senior. Hughes is going. Hughes is the first try scorer, remember, for the only try scorer for the Eagles as he tries to get number 2, but it's the last tackle onto Sheridan. Sheridan again for the kick through. And in fact, Martin Wood there was pushed out of the way there by the Sheffield chaser, and in fact collided very, very heavily with those hoardings at the back of the post as he shepherded the ball over that dead ball line. And just looking down below us here at Richard Pixley, I beg your pardon, Ian Hughes, the second rower of Sheffield Eagles, the look on his face is one of what on earth do we do? Well, the answer is score tries if you can, I suppose. As Dixon applies the left boot to the ball there onto the far wing, the wing which he himself, in fact no, he's not, Keith Dixon of course, this side, this half, Andy Ayres' his wing over there as Sheffield now drive the way back into the Cougars 20-metre area. 13 minutes on the clock as Price, Sheridan rather, gets Turner in, but Turner well wrapped up there. And again the Eagles trying to sort something out in the centre of the park. Price on the ball there is out now to Paul Carr over the far side, but the Australian loses the ball in possession.
Latest score of Batley is Batley 16, St Helens 16.
So we've got a scrum down there just inside the Cougars 20. It's Keighley head and feed. We should be looking for the ball coming out the back of the Cougars pack. Stranger things do happen, but not on this occasion as Robinson goes up the short side, but Maiko's there to tackle him, gets up, plays the ball. Pinkney running across the face of play, looking for a half gap to scamper through, trying to get away from that heavy area. But treated to a bath in it. Gately taking that ball half behind him, having to just reduce a bit of steam as Ramshaw now going on his own from the back position, the hand. Well, I think really the force of the tackle there, the arm actually, certainly to my eye, hit the ball. The Sheffield defender hit the ball with his arm, but referee adjudging that it was the arm slipping down the body after having made the tackle that caused the ball to be spilled, and so knock on. one which will cause his mystification to both players and spectators alike, I'm sure. As to the stripping or knock-on, as Faddle now goes on his own from the acting half position inside that Cougars 10. Sheridan going on his own. Well, he got the numbers out. He really ought to have spread that ball, I feel, but as it is, it's the last one. Price gets the ball infield. Jackson hands it on to Carr. Maiko out there to Sodji. Sodji, though, easily tackled over there on that far side. And in fact, the referee is going to give the handover from the point of the spill. Keighley not really able to take advantage of that pick up. As Ayers now goes, doesn't he? Oh! Well, Mr. Connolly says no. The crowd said who, and I think I did as well, as Dixon now comes through the centre of the field. 30 metres away from his own try line, 15 from the halfway line. Steve Hall barges through the first couple of tacklers. Receives a knee from Turner as he gets tackled as Dory. 10 metres inside the Eagles half of the field. Ramshaw onto Gately. Gately coming like a train up this touchline side. 25 metres out. 4 tackles gone. Ramshaw, Robinson goes for the kick, the chase, but it's going to be a hard chase there, but it's a good kick, that's for sure. Andy Ayres misses Sodji, but the next man gets him in the shape of Martin Wood, just short of the Eagles 20. It was an ambitious kick there by Robinson. Almost coming off as it hung up there in the in-goal area, but just too far, too deep for the Keighley attack in that occasion, as the Cougar cry comes up to encourage these red and green shirts, or the players inside these red and green shirts of Keighley. Faddle for Eagles, half through the tackle of Dory, and a long kick across the far side there. Ayres traps it with his foot, gets away from the first half tackle, and really I think the reason that Keighley are bursting these tackles in this second half, and in the first half particularly as well, is the fact that the Eagles are tackling down up above and not down below where they should be. That's where they should be tackling there, where Faddle did, as Dixon plays the ball to himself and gets another 10 metres, almost gets a spare tackle into the bargain, as well as Robinson gets the ball out there to Hall, on there to Pinkney. Pinkney kicks ahead, charges off the ball, but follows it up, and Steve Hall, the man in support as ever. The Eagles penned inside their own half for the time being, that is, gets up, plays the ball. Offloads there, does the number 10 Grant Glancy, gets the ball out the far side, but the sliding defence of Keighley moving across quickly there, and a good tackle there, half stopped by Stevenson, finished off by Gately, as Faddle once more running out wide, looks for a hole, offloads in the tackle, and it's Turner now, the man on the end of that, the offload from Faddle, gets up and plays the ball, and it's Sheffield now looking for the support. It's Hughes, the man in support, running away, gets the ball out the far side, onto Carr, but Carr's well tackled. Sodji puts the ball down, Keighley regather, but in fact going to touch. And Keighley looking to make 2 substitutions. Phil Stevenson coming off, certainly Brendan Hill replacing him, and Darren Appleby also coming on. And in fact it's number 8, Ian Gately, coming off. Well, we're losing some firepower here. Half back for a prop. Ooh. I'm not too sure. We wait to see. 20 minutes as the Eagles now launch an attack from that scrum halfway through the second half. And Faddle tackled by those 2 substitutes. Appleby hanging on to the legs as Hill does the tackling. Offload there to Hughes, and again another tackle coming in from Brendan Hill. 5 metres though from the Cougars line as Jackson gets the ball away. On to Sheridan. Sheridan offers a dummy and scores. Well, he offered the dummy to the left, and the Keighley defence took it. Ryan Sheridan in there, so this should, well, I'm saying should, David Michael missed the last one. This should, though, if everything's equal, put the Eagles into double figures, and this is the point where the Eagles are dangerous. It may well be 26 points to 8 at the moment in Keighley's favour, but the Eagles are very dangerous when they come back. They've demonstrated this so many times, and complacency is not something that Keighley can afford to have. Not that they've shown that yet, and I'm certain they're not going to show it.
Substitution, Clancy off and on comes Darrell Powell.
Darrell Powell then coming on for John Glancy, as that goal kick conversion by David Michael successful. So then, as Robinson prepares to restart, kick deep there into the territory of Sheffield. Darrell Powell just on the field, as well tackled there by the chase from Brendan Hill and Grant Dorey. Powell, he'll be looking to reorganise his Sheffield side, presumably into some form of success that they'll be looking for. And it's Powell again over the far side. Farrell again offloading in the tackle, something which is done all afternoon. Well, allowed to offload there when the tackle looked to be complete, but it's now made secure on the halfway line as Price goes down. Jackson gets the ball out to Sheridan, on to Powell. Powell steps through the centre of the play, offloads in the tackle. Brendan Hill misses the tackle. Sheffield now moving forward. Looks like Paul Carr there, tackled just short of the Keighley line as the last tackle comes up. Moves the ball out now to Sheridan. Sheridan tackled in possession. That's the handover. Keighley can breathe again. The Cougars have got 17 minutes before going into the next round, if they can keep the scoreline as it is, or indeed keep the noses in front. As Brendan Hill now certainly looking for a big 20 minutes from this fella, equal to the 60 put in by his prop forward compatriot Ian Gately. Well, companion, not compatriot. Well, he's not even companion, is he? Let's get on with the game, never mind the chat. As Grant Dorey gets in 10 metres from the halfway line. Pinkney, Cochrane tackled but loses the ball, and Keighley just gone a little bit to sleep at the moment. The respective possession seems to have gone, or the security of possession, as Sodji, always suspect to lose the ball in the tackle is Sodji, but doesn't do on that occasion, as Hughes tackled on that 20-metre line. Moving out there to, and passed off the floor there, for goodness sake, but mind you, he did get up again. He did get the elbows off the floor, so there's nothing wrong with that really, as Powell gets the ball onto Farrell. Farrell struggles his way towards the line. Tackle though, inches short of that Cougar line is Anthony Farrell. Gets up, goes down again, and the ball lost. Well, what on earth's happening here? A knock-on in fact, but it was the last tackle, so it's a handover. Brendan Hill tackled in possession. Jason Ramshaw onto Steve Hall. Runs away from defence, clears that 10-metre line on the way. Jason Ramshaw, Chris Robinson. Oh, and the shoulder went in there, but the referee said it was all right. Dorey lost the ball in possession, and the Eagles have got the numbers. Well, the knock-on comes, and it's panic football by Sheffield Eagles there. They had the numbers, they had three, certainly 3-1, maybe perhaps only 3-2, but nonetheless they had an overlap situation. They didn't respect possession. Grant Dorey still suffering from that shoulder that he received underneath the chin from Anthony Farrell at this side when he lost possession. Just receiving attention from the Keighley physio, as is one of the well, no, the instructions are going on from Sheffield. I don't think anybody's receiving attention unless it's just to wipe some mud from their eyes, but I think that's an excuse for passing instructions on from the bench. Robinson then to feed the Cougar call yet again, trying to keep these Cougars on the toes as they come away from defence into attack. Andy Ayres gets up, plays the ball to Robinson. Stevie Hall drives in again, straight at Anthony Farrell. And look at the elbow going in there from Farrell, totally noticed by this touch judge and by the man in the middle. But I think the referee says that he saw it and he heard something as well. He was pointing to his ear anyway, that's for sure. Dorey in, clears the halfway line before going down to the tackles of Farrell. Ramshaw on to Robinson. Robinson finds Cochrane. Gareth Cochrane, tackle though in possession, 5 metres inside the Eagles' half of the field. As the call comes for the last tackle, Robinson puts the kick in. Oh, it skews off the side of the boot, but it's not gone into, in fact it has gone into touch. The weight was right, it's just the fact that it came off the side of the boot rather than the front that lost direction, but there's a lot of tired bodies on that field, and I'm also including Sheffield Eagles in that comment. The Cougars certainly taking the time to set the scrum, but the Eagles were not eager to get back there either. That could be against the head, but the referee says same way out as the scrum wheeled. Well, we won't see that happen again. This ball this time will certainly come out the Eagles' side, or Keighley will be penalised. Sodji in the centre of the field, but well tackled there by Darren Appleby. Sodji gets up, plays the ball out this side of the field into the big prop, number 8, Paul Broadbent, 10 metres from the halfway line. Lee Jackson onto Darryl Powell. Darryl Powell offloads to Hughes, but Hughes is tackled just inside the Cougars' half. And again the Cougar tackling up to it, just again some 10 metres, 11 metres inside their own half of the field. Sheridan gets the ball out this side eventually to centre Senior, but Senior tackled 15 metres inside the Cougars' half as tackle number 6 comes up. Jackson, oh, and Dixon missed that tackle there as Price goes for the kick and the chase down to the corner to the dead ball line area, but it goes dead. But Keith Dixon certainly missed that tackle. It was a very half-hearted attempt by him. As Brendan Hill now. Ramshaw to Martin Wood. Martin Wood coming looking to come through between those two defenders, but the gate closed on him. Appleby scoots away a couple of metres from the halfway line as the referee calls the Eagles defence to release the player in possession. Ayres almost away from the tackle. Powell picking up the foot as Robinson finds Dorey with that delayed pass. Dorey turns round to offload, but he finds 2 more Eagles players as the last tackle now. Mr. Connolly very tolerant there as Robinson goes for the drop goal, but the ball goes dead. It was the last tackle, it was close to the 20. The old maxim is never go there without a point if you can. That's what Robinson was trying to do, unfortunately it didn't work out. Time on the clock ticks slowly away as we approach the 70-minute mark in this game, as Brendan Hill going to be penalised there. Well, it was on the shoulder, it rode up to the head, and everything that hits the head is a high tackle, but it would have been nice if Mr. Connolly had have applied it to certainly to Anthony Farrell's attempts of tackling on occasions, but as it is, it's Daryl Powell for Sheffield, gets into the Cougars 30. Gamson, the Eagles fullback, play now 18 metres from the Cougars line as Powell puts that ball out there. It's going to be a knock on as Keighley in fact regathers, so the next tackle is the first one. Where on earth is Brendan Hill going? He's going this way. Oh, and he'll lose his possession. Oh dear me. As we're inside the 20 now, that spill ball by Brendan Hill putting his teammates under considerable pressure once more as this big fellow Farrell runs again at the Keighley defence, 10 metres away from the try line. Ball switched back inside there to Broadbent. Broadbent tackled, offload, so in the tackle. The Eagles trying to work something out there, but oh, come on, you can't do that. That tackle was made and he actually gave the ball away. Goodness me. Referee Connolly happy with it though, as Broadbent gets the ball out to Powell. Daryl Powell though, tackled in front of those Cougars posts, but loses the ball. Lost the ball and it's a handover. And Hall comes away from the acting half position on his own, makes 10 metres from the halfway line before being tackled. And it's Dixon on to Ramshaw. Ramshaw makes the halfway line within half a metre, that is. Dixon on to Robinson. Robinson finds Dory. Dory steps back inside. I say it again, there's some aching limbs and there's some tired limbs on there, and he must have been offside. There's no way that Lee Jackson could get there that quick from 10 metres away. Appleby going on his own from the acting half position. 5 metres inside the Eagles half. Ramshaw puts boot to ball for the chase over the far side. It's going into touch, but I didn't see whether in fact it was the last tackle. But again, the ball sliding off the side of the boot.
Off come Gareth and Brendan, and on come Ian Gately and Phil Stevenson.
Ian Gately and Phil Stevenson retake the field as Gareth Cochran and Brendan Hill go back to the bench. And that's the Keighley's 4 subs used. As we go down to scrum, 15 metres inside the Eagles half of the field. Bright Sodji looking to get away from that Keighley defence, but tackled 10 metres short of the halfway line. Anthony Farrell runs across the face of play, half stopped by Appleby, and again being allowed to offload in the tackle as Senior gets away from Dixon once more. Andre Stoop does the tackling. Grant Dory puts the centre into touch, but really Keith Dixon should have had him stitched up just inside his own half of the field. He almost looked at him and waved bye-bye as he went past. So we got a scrum then forming 10 metres from the Cougars line. It's the Cougars head and feed. We've got just under 7 minutes of actual time left in this second half, in fact in this game, as Dixon comes forward from that scrum. Robinson finds Stevenson. Certainly Stevenson and Gately have got to pick it up from having that short spell on the bench. It's hard work coming back and, well, not playing the ball correctly, I suspect. Yep. So Sheffield given yet another chance to launch an attack at the Keighley try line as Hughes goes forward and tackled a dozen metres from it. Jackson, oh! And I think Sheffield Eagles do not want to go into the next round. It looks as though they've had enough of this Regal Trophy. The opportunities they've had. And Appleby. "30 metres out as Steve Hall drives up the hill once more. As said earlier, both sides tired, absolutely tired. I think Sheffield tired before Keighley. Already made comment on that 5 minutes into the second half as Irving gets the ball out, goes backwards those. Dixon regathers on this side. Senior tackled in possession, I beg your pardon, Dixon tackled in possession by Senior and Turner. Pinkney, acting half-back. Well, nobody really knew who wanted that. In the event, it's Lee Jackson who's there, but Stoop does the chasing, does the regathering, and Chris Robinson's offside. I think Robinson thought that the Sheffield player had got that ball. In fact, it was Stoop who had it. Picked the ball up. So then the Eagles have another chance. Have they got the energy to get there, we say, as Sheridan gets the ball over the far side, spills the ball, Keighley regather. Well, they lost the ball on the first tackle that time. Keighley said thank you very much. All they've got to do now is really hang on. We've just got under 5 minutes. Can Keighley hang on? I think they can. And certainly it's been an heroic game as far as they've been concerned, Keighley, because it's been a test of stamina on both sides, and it's credit to them, but particularly to Keighley, for the way in which they've held the Eagles out in this second half, against the hill, in the heavy conditions, and against some quite strong tackling. Steve Hall gets the man of the match in the Regal Trophy, man of the match awarded by the press as the last tackle comes up. Robinson applies boot to ball, kicks over the top, it stays in field as Senior gets there, and Senior has to do the running out. Gately does the tackling as the Eagles try yet again to come away from defence into attack. 10 metres inside their own half of the field. The scoreline reading at the moment 26 points to 10 in the Cougars' favour. Gamson losing the ball, but the referee indicating that it had gone back. Sheridan gets the ball, and that one had gone forward. Dory doesn't have to wait for the referee to give the forward pass. He drops on the ball, regains possession for Keighley just inside his own half of the field, and you can see there how tired those players are. 5 metres inside the Eagles half as Ramshaw offers the ball but decides to take the tackle, eases up, waits and eats up a few more valuable seconds as Martin Wood gets the all onto Stoop. Stoop half through the tackle, offloads. Whoa. Well, you couldn't ask Martin Wood to do anything on that. It was a poor pass, but again a knock on again there, and that man Sodji, well, he's certainly got soap on his hands.
10 to 6 or 5 to 6 on Radio 5 and Radio Leeds, I do believe. I'm not sure about that.
So then the scrum forms just inside the Sheffield Eagles half of the field. It's Keighley's head and feed. As Robinson patiently waits for the ball out of the back of scrum. Martin Wood, Pinkney, he's going on the chase, it's Pinkney, there's Farrell there with him, loses the ball, Simon Irving picks it up, and it's Sheffield who regather. Well, that was a bit of enterprise by Nick Pinkney. He fancied his chances, chasing the kick there, he almost made it, but where oh where did Anthony Farrell find the energy from to get up there? He's been doing a load of tackling. His shirt is the dirtiest on the field as far as Sheffield's concerned, indicative of the amount of work he's got through. And in fact a yellow card there for Simon Irving, the 5th one, and I thought Mr Conley had decided to forget about that one, but no, he's been consistent throughout. As Jackson now gets the ball out to Sheridan, Keighley down to Forrest, oh, and again the Eagles lose the ball. It's Darren Appleby who regathers from his on the floor position. Looks as though he might have picked up a knock. You can't pick up knocks now, Darren. You've only 12 men on the field. You've got to carry it. You've no substitutes left. Ian Gately gets up, plays the ball. And certainly Paul Brobent, the number 8 for Sheffield, standing in offside position as that ball was played. But this is a different situation. As Steve Hall halfway through, the man of the match halfway through that tackle inside the Eagles 20. Robinson finds Dory. Dory spins as he comes back to this side of the field. The last tackle comes up. Are we looking for a drop goal? Well, we were, but it struck the Eagles player. That went backwards, said the referee, as Powell takes the ball and again offloads in the tackle. as the Eagles break down the stand side, but we're well now into the last minute. Only 15 seconds on the actual running clock as the Cougars go into the next round of the Regal Trophy. An historic victory here at Cougar Park from them over First Division opponents. As we said at the beginning of the game, certainly a good benchmark for them for next season in the First Division. The Eagles mid-table in that big league, and certainly give the Cougars something to an idea as to what they may be up against in the First Division. Tremendous display by the Cougars this afternoon. 120% given by every single one of the 15 players on display this afternoon in the Keighley side, as the Eagles, and let's just make this clear, Sheffield Eagles didn't come here to lose, they came here to win. And I think really they're bringing a lesson in ball security and confidence in tackling, in attacking and in try scoring. As the hooter goes, the Cougars are through. They've beaten Sheffield Eagles 26 points to 10. The Cougars tries coming from Keith Dixon, from Gareth Cochran, from Chris Robinson and from Andre Stoup. There's been 5 goals from Simon Irving, and the tries for the 2 tries for Sheffield Eagles from second row Ian Hughes, from scrum half Ryan Sheridan, 1 David Maiko goal. But what a tremendous performance by the Cougars, and I think we've also got to say what a tremendous performance by both sides under very difficult conditions. And certainly here comes the Cougar crawl up the centre of the field. There it goes. The Cougars are through to the quarter-finals of the Regal Trophy. We don't know who they'll get back next round, but you can rest assured, whoever it is, they're in for one hell of a game. Final score here then at Cougar Park, Keighley Cougars 26, Sheffield Eagles 10.